Between 2016 and 2021, the Sacramento region grew by 5%. We're talking over 117,000 new residents. Today we go over 6 of the most popular suburbs people are moving into in the Sacramento area. And number 1 is going to be a total shocker. We're going to go on the list from most affordable to least affordable. Now we get so many comments about these 6 suburbs that we actually want to include the comments and the polls that we've been running on this channel in the video, so you can get honest feedback from the people who actually live in Sacramento and find out what they actually think about these suburbs. Number 6, and the most affordable out of the 6, is Roseville, California. Located on the 80 freeway, Roseville is a staple of the Sacramento metro. If you're talking about downtown, you're talking about maybe a 25-minute drive around there, close to the airport as well too, 22-minute drive as well. So Roseville has been a staple of the Sacramento area for a long time. A lot of people know about Roseville. It's not as known as a Folsom or maybe an Dorado Hills, but it's definitely one of those spots that's pretty known in our area. As far as shopping goes, this is our shopping hub. Roseville has stores like West Elm, like Restoration Hardware, Pottery Barn, Williams-Sonoma, all those stores. It also has a lot of big box stores. And also, it's been on almost every single list as one of the best spots to live in the entire United States. Roseville definitely has it all. Now, as far as the price point, you can tell here, just under $700,000. Now, for me, if you take out West Roseville and throw it away for a second, and you have Central Roseville, and you basically have East Roseville, you're going to get a price point closer to Folsom, California. West Roseville, when they started building, they had a lot of aggressive home building happening in the $400,000 and $500,000, which brought the price point in general to Roseville a little bit lower. So that's kind of what you're seeing. Is it affordable to get into? Central Roseville, East Roseville, it's still a little bit hard to jump into those areas. West Roseville, for a new home and a newer home community over there, yes, you can definitely do that in probably the high 5s, low 6s, nice spot. So that's kind of one of the things about it. Now, as far as shopping goes, shopping is basically the shopping hub of the Sacramento area. You're going to have big places like, like the Galleria over here. You got your Costco's, you got your fountains as well too. The Galleria and the fountains are right there. That's where all the majority of the shopping happens in the Sacramento area. Yes, there are other little malls around. There's some in Rocklin, some in like Elk Grove and everything too. But a majority of our shopping happens here. You're not going to find a lot of Apple stores throughout the Sacramento area, maybe 1 or 2. This is the mall that has it. It's a really nice indoor mall. The Galleria and the fountains has Dave & Buster's, places to eat, really nice fun vibe. If you like the Yard House, this is where you go. If you like Pushkin's Bakery, this is where you go. Honestly, Roseville has so much shopping, it's not even funny. Now, let's talk a little bit about medical. Medical is huge in Roseville as well too. So if you're a nurse or a doctor or someone who's just interested in medical, you got Sutter here, you got Kaiser. That's where actually my daughter was born too. So you got some really good medical here in Roseville, California as well too. So if you're someone who's thinking to yourself, I want to go to an active community, or maybe I need to be close to a big like trauma center, a big hospital, like Roseville is probably going to be one of the spots you're looking at. Really nice. Like I said, the only thing I will say about Roseville is it is getting a little bit like, because the mall and the shopping is there, it does get a little bit little trafficy. Around 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock. It's probably one of the more trafficy spots in the Sacramento metro, especially between the 80 and the 65. And we'll get into the maps in a second. Now let's get into the schools. You got the Center Joint Unified that's is kind of part of the West Roseville area, and a majority of Roseville is Roseville City Schools. So that's kind of what it looks like in schools. And I would say go to greatschools.org to take a look at those schools for yourself. One of the things I've noticed with the new homes is that a lot of people don't know which school district is what. There's a lot of gray area as far as that goes. Now, as far as where you're looking, okay, so I would say basically here is going to be the most expensive part of Roseville. That's what you call East Roseville. And that part is just, very expensive, butted up next to Granite Bay. Sometimes on a map, it looks like Roseville. Sometimes it looks like Granite Bay. You're going to see some nice homes. It's hard to get into East Roseville underneath $1 million. Really nice spot. Cute little communities, tree-lined streets, really nice. Those are where you're going to have like the houses that are 3, 4, 5,000 square feet. Nice houses. As you get closer to Granite Bay, you see the houses get a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. People love that area. I'd say some people even like the East Roseville area better than Granite Bay. And here you got Central Roseville area. That's where the shopping is. And there's a lot of nice communities as well in this area 2. So I'd say if you're someone who like needs to be kind of close to like the 80, you kind of want to be closer to the you know, the shopping and everything too, and you don't really care that much about having like a little private tucked away community, this is a great spot. But like I said, both these areas, like except for maybe the older part of Roseville, both these areas are hard to get into for probably under like $900,000. Now, where all the new home building is over here, and over here, they're building pretty much everywhere in West Roseville. Builders like KB, builders like Richmond American, Woodside, Meritage is out there as well too. KHOV was building out there as well too. Taylor Morrison was out there as well. You've got so many builders in that area. For a good part of 2024, that was where a majority of our building, that was the biggest spot that we were building in the Sacramento area. And now probably Elk Grove. But West Roseville is a powerhouse with areas like Sierra, with Solaire, and now their new Amoroso Ranch. If you're looking for Roseville and you like the West Roseville vibe, and I definitely go out there, make sure you check about the schools. And also, here's where you're going to get some of the best incentives for new homes in all of the Sacramento area. What do I think as far as price point for the new homes? I think at communities like Beezer, some communities like D.R. Horton, you're probably getting the high 5s, but we're losing the 5s in the West Roseville area, and we're moving into 6 territory, which makes it a little bit more expensive than Rancho. West Roseville, though, is a fantastic spot if you're looking for a new home, up and coming area. The only thing, like I said, is just make sure the school district is the one you want. And it's a little bit of a gray area out there too, but it's a really, really nice spot. You're going to see a new Costco, new commercial being built out there, and it's really nice. Now, as far as Roseville in general, you're right next to Loomis. Very, very nice area. Granite Bay as well too. And then you're like close to Rocklin as well too. Roseville's location is probably one of the things people love the most about Roseville. The lifestyle wise, as far as future development, Roseville is going to be, it already has been a player, but I'd say West Roseville added to Roseville just really is going to make Roseville a powerhouse in the near future. Roseville 2030 is just going to be out of this world. The development, the growth, the plans, lifestyle in Roseville, you can have it all. You can have that like nice suburban feel, tree-lined streets. You can have the golf course communities. There's a lot of active communities as well as Roseville too. You got the shopping, you got the parks, you got the freeway close by. Roseville definitely is one of those spots that people love, and it's definitely a spot where if you can find something, you can have it all. Okay, number 5 for affordability is Elk Grove, just by a smidge. And I'm telling you guys this straight up, if Roseville didn't have so much aggressive pricing in the West Roseville area, price point probably would have been, like the median home price would be a little bit above Elk Grove, but it is what it is. So Elk Grove is number 5. So let's look at Elk Grove. Elk Grove Unified Schools. Some of the reasons why people love Elk Grove is the school district, and also it's the southernmost part of the Sacramento area. So if you got to commute one day a week to the Bay Area, it's the closest part to the Bay Area. Also, there's going to be a new train station that connects with the Bay Area as well too. Elk Grove is pretty flat, I will say though. So Elk Grove is nice. It's growing. It's probably the most competitive real estate market as far as trying to get a home in the Sacramento area. People absolutely love Elk Grove. Now, if you're someone who likes Elk Grove, would like the Elk Grove schools, but you don't really want to get into that insanity that is known as Elk Grove's real estate market, there's also areas like Vineyard that's just a little bit outside Elk Grove in Elk Grove schools, or in Rancho in the Anatolia area that's also part of Elk Grove schools. Lower price point, less competition, and really nice spots that are up and coming. So this is Elk Grove Unified, and that's the school district for the most part. Now, as far as medical goes, not a whole lot of medical in Elk Grove. You got the center, but for the most part, you're going to be heading into Sacramento. So for the most part, if you're looking for a spot that maybe is like, heavy in medical, I'd say Roseville might be a better spot for you, maybe downtown-ish. But Elk Grove is, like I said, growing, developing. It probably will be, out of all the areas that we're going to highlight in this video, the most, it's going to probably develop the fastest, even faster than Folsom. So Elk Grove is definitely doing its thing. And like I said, we got the Sacramento Zoo that's moving over, the train station, we got Costco's planned, new schools planned. Elk Grove is definitely one of those spots. Now, as far as like the new home building goes, as far as the shopping goes, it's okay. There's some malls, you got your Best Buys, your Targets, your big box stores, but you don't really have that one big commercial mall. A lot of people head over to Delta Shores, but for the most part, you don't really have that one big commercial mall like the Galleria or the Fountains in Elk Grove. A lot of your shopping, you might go to Arden, downtown. That's kind of what you're looking like. So as far as shopping goes, it still is in need of that. Delta Shores is kind of close by, so a lot of people go there, but that's what I'd say for shopping. Now, as far as new home building, and let's get into this too, the new home building is just nuts here in the area as well. In the 757, you have builders like KB, you got builders like Woodside, Taylor Morrison, New Home Company, new home building, B's are also, there's every single builder underneath the sun that's building in the 757. There's some building in the 758, which is the Laguna area near the man-made lakes and everything too. But for the most part, the new home building that you're going to find is in the 757. The good news is you're probably going to find a floor plan and a house that you like. The bad news is the price points tend to go up every single release, and the Melrose in Elk Grove in the 757 tends to be some of the highest Melrose in the Sacramento area. But like I said, a lot of people coming from the Bay love Elk Grove. A lot of people from the Bay want brand new homes, and Elk Grove definitely seems to be that spot they love. They also love the idea that it's not as expensive as a Rocklin, Dorado Hills, and a Folsom, and they still have really close access relatively to the Bay Area. So Elk Grove is definitely a spot. Now, as far as Elk Grove goes, you got your three spots. You get the 757, 758, 624. Now, this is a 624, and you're going to notice this one kind of connects in a little bit over here. Now, this is an area that's developing out nicely. So a lot of people have these big homes, Sheldon Estates, where you have like acre to like 10-acre pieces of land with really nice luxury homes on them. Now, over here, you're going to have a little bit older tract homes. Now, I would say if you're looking to get an Elk Grove, maybe under $600,000, the 624 in this kind of area is probably where you'd be looking at. Another area that I absolutely love, like I said, I love the Wilton area. I love the Vineyard area. Price point is a lot cheaper, and the market is a little bit less competitive than it is in Elk Grove, and I think that that's awesome. So this would be the 624. Boom. Over here, we're looking at the 757, or 758, sorry. This is the Laguna area, and this is what has all the man-made lake communities. So if you've seen my videos about the houses living on those man-made lakes, and they look awesome, and that's your thing, 758 is where you want to go. Laguna is awesome. Probably one of my favorite spots in Elk Grove, just because those man-made lakes look so nice. Has a little San Diego vibe to it. I'm not going to lie. I really do love that area. And here we go. And we got the 757. This market is easily the most competitive, most sought after. It is just a nuts market. This is where all the new home building is happening. This is where pretty much 90% of the new home building, maybe 95% of the new home building is happening. This is where the highest Melrose are. This is where the Sky River Casino is. This is where the Sacramento Zoo is going to move to. This is where everything is kind of happening. New Costco's, new schools, and everything. This entire area is on fire. Like I said, if you're looking for something under $700,000 in this area, it's not easy to do. I would say probably look at the older part of the 624 or the 758. This area, like I said, for the price point of maybe under $700,000, maybe a little above, is the most competitive price point in probably the entire Sacramento area. Elk Grove is definitely sought after. That's why we have so many new home builders, and they charge crazy Melrose, because people love the area and they definitely want to basically move in here. Now, as far as the future of Elk Grove, I would say out of any spot in the Sacramento area, Elk Grove's development is on fire. It's probably going to develop even faster than Folsom, which is pretty on fire itself. Elk Grove has that new train station coming in, the zoo, Sky River Casino. It's got another Costco planned. It's got more shopping planned. And all the new homes that are pumping in all that Melrose, that area is going to develop out. It's going to be really, really nice. So Elk Grove is definitely an up-and-comer. And for the price point, in comparison to your Folsoms, your Granite Bay, or El Dorado Hills, it's really a price that can't be beat in the Sacramento area for what you're getting right now and what you could get in the near future. Okay, number 4 is Rocklin, California. Now, before we get started in Rocklin, let's talk a little bit about electricity. It's a big thing here in the Sacramento area. Elk Grove is on the Sacramento Municipal Utility District, which is half the price of PG&E and no brownouts. Roseville is on Roseville Electric, half the price of PG&E, no brownouts. Rocklin is in PG&E country, and a lot of people don't like PG&E. So that's one thing just to note about Rocklin. Now, as far as the price point, it's a little bit above Elk Grove and a little bit above Roseville. Rocklin is resort style living, houses with views, really nice communities. You can find golf course communities. You can find also some of these cool little communities by the 80 that don't have any HOAs and Melrose as well too. And you get one of the things a lot of people love, the Rocklin Unified School District. The schools in Rocklin people absolutely love. The high schools, middle schools, elementary. Go to greatschools.org and check them out for yourself. But a lot of people love the schools in Rocklin, California. One of the main reasons people move into that area. Like I said, Rocklin is is a little further away than Roseville from downtown Sacramento. It's kind of between Roseville and between Lincoln. So it's a little farther of a drive if you're someone who needs to commute to like downtown Sacramento. Now, if you do, I would suggest buying a house in the part of Rocklin that's kind of by the 80, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But Rocklin's a really nice spot. As far as medical, as you can see here, there's a lot of medical here, as well as medical in Roseville. Guys, you're like 15 minutes from Roseville as well too. So medical, you're good. As far as active communities, you're going to find more active communities in Roseville than in Rocklin. You're probably going to find more active communities in Lincoln than in Rocklin as well too. Rocklin is a really nice spot, and I've already heard of actually 2 active communities that are going to be built in Rocklin. But like I said, guys, Rocklin is a fantastic spot to live. Now, the topography of Rocklin is different than your Roseville and your Elk Grove. Rocklin is where you get the hills. Almost kind of looks like a little El Dorado Hill-ish. You also have your golf course community, Whitney Oaks. It's really, really nice. So Rocklin definitely has it all. Now let's talk a little bit about shopping. There's not a whole lot of shopping in Rocklin. You're going to see some big box stores, living spaces like close by. It's going to be like Roseville stuff, right? A lot of people go to the gallery, go to the fountains for their Apple, for their restoration hardware, for their dining. But Rocklin is booming. It's growing. It's developing. What you're going to notice about Rocklin is with the advent of the Whitney Ranch Retail Center, you're going to see a lot more retail being invested into Rocklin. That's one of the things that Rocklin definitely needed, and I think it's going to be getting it this year with the Whitney Ranch Retail Center, and I think there's going to be more retail development in Rocklin. Once it has that, man, all the planets are aligning, and Rocklin is just going to take off. It already is. Like you saw, the price point of Rocklin is pretty expensive in Rocklin, to be honest, and it's neck and neck at times with Folsom. But if it just gets its commercial and its shopping, Rocklin's going to be a whole nother level. Rocklin, like I said, is a really nice spot. Now, in a previous video we did Rocklin versus Folsom. And normally it just breaks down to if you want to either be on the 50, go to Folsom. 80, go to Rocklin. Both these areas are really, I mean, they look so much alike. The price point is so similar, and the lifestyle is so kind of on point. You definitely need to check out both. Like I said, Rocklin is a pretty amazing spot. Now let's go into a little bit of the map of Rocklin right here. Now this is the 80, and then you got the 65 right here. Here is brutal. Now this is where a lot of the traffic happens, and like I said, the traffic between Rocklin and Roseville in this spot is just horrific around 9 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Now when I say horrific, do I mean like Bay Area horrific? No, I just mean Sacramento horrific. So it's a little bit brutal, but at the same time, I'm not comparing it to LA traffic or the Bay Area traffic. I'm just saying that if you expect to live in somewhere where you're not going to see any traffic, just be aware that it does get congested there. Now, as far as Rocklin goes, like I said, around the 80 right up here, this is where you're going to find Tim Lewis building 2 communities, Lake and Wood. Nice communities, $1 million homes. There's a man-made lake out there as well too. We've worked with a few doctors because they were close to the 80. They like the private community and they can zip down to downtown, not a problem. It was the closest spot. They calculated out and it worked for them. Now, 2 all-star communities in Rocklin, but this is a little bit further up to 65, Whitney Oaks and Whitney Ranch. Now, Whitney Oaks, for the most part, is a golf course community. It's an older community, really nice, affluent, nice big houses, gated, awesome. Some of the houses on Country Club, custom, beautiful, beautiful spot. Whitney Ranch is a little newer, a little more modern. I would say that the vibe there is a little bit more like there's an elementary school. People are driving around golf carts to pick up their kids. Really fun community vibe. $82 HOA for basically probably the best HOA in all the Sacramento area. The HOA offers you pools, cabanas, clubhouses, and all that stuff too. Really, really nice spot. Now in Whitney Ranch, there is additional building. There's JMC building 3 communities. There's Anthem also building a community that's coming soon. And also KB at the very foot of the Whitney Ranch Parkway is also building a community too, and they're starting in the 5s. Now, also when you get off on the Whitney Ranch Parkway, that's where the Whitney Ranch Retail Center is going to be. So the Nugget and shopping is going to be super close by as well too. My guess is that once that shopping gets into place into Rocklin, you're probably going to see additional appreciation and house prices are going to go up a little bit, because Rocklin, the 3 things that it had against it, honestly, PG&E, no one's a big fan. 2, distance from downtown, and 3 is the shopping. A lot of people in Rocklin went either to Roseville for their shopping or went to Lincoln for the Nugget. But once the Whitney Ranch Retail Center gets put in place here, it could be a game changer. So that's number 4, guys, Rocklin. Okay, number 3 is Folsom, California. Now let's talk electricity. SMUD, the Sacramento Municipal Utility District. One of the main reasons why a lot of people move into Folsom is they want the resort style vibe. They love the atmosphere in Folsom and they don't want to deal with PG&E. So Folsom has become even more popular. It's also become one of those destination spots. Now, as far as price point, it's definitely more expensive than Rocklin, Elk Grove, and Roseville. It's a hard one. And even this price point, a lot of people might look at it and go like, especially people who live in Folsom, get $800,000, doubtful. It's just a hard market. In fact, for like more of like the high-end homes, it's just a very competitive market. Like Folsom, I'd say for like the luxury homes and anything over like 800 to 850 or above, it's just one of the more competitive markets in that area. I'd say Elk Grove underneath that, but Folsom above that. Folsom is just awesome. People absolutely love Folsom. One of the most popular, if not the most popular spot in the Sacramento area because it's so known outside the area. We get so many people who said, oh, my brother lives in Folsom. Can you show me Folsom? Now, a lot of times we might pivot them to Dorado Hills and they might find out about Rocklin. But for the most part, a lot of people love the Folsom area. Now, like I said, the price point, it's a little misleading because you're going to see 800 and you're going to say, that's not too bad. It's still not an easy market to find anything at $800,000. There's a lot of new home building as well, too, that we'll get into as well too, but Folsom is super competitive. The lifestyle is resorty. It's a little hilly as well too. It's starting to where we get the upgrade in the hills. So you have communities like on Serpa, Sundal. You have Empire Ranch, which is a nice golf course community as well too. So you have that, but you also have houses that are a little bit more on the flatter side, like Briggs Ranch. So you have a little mix of everything in Folsom. Some of the best communities that people absolutely just jaw drop are in Folsom, California. And like I said, there's reasons why Folsom is probably the most popular spot from people outside the area that they want to move into Folsom. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. First of all, Folsom, Cordova Unified School District. Now, Folsom schools, people absolutely love. And I would say go to greatschools.org, but for high schools, Folsom High and Vista, 2 of the most sought after high schools. There's a new elementary in Folsom Ranch. There's going to be a couple other schools being built. Folsom schools, like I said, go to greatschools.org, but I've heard a lot of people who move to Folsom specifically for the schools. Now, as far as like shopping goes, if you see this map right here, you're going to see a lot of shopping. Here are like the outlets over here. Here is East Bidwell. Now, what you're going to notice is, and here's Folsom Ranch over here too. You're going to see probably like a Costco right here, and you're going to see the Palladio right here. And that's going to be where a lot of the shopping is done. Folsom has shopping, and it's really, really nice. I would say it's not really on par with your Rosevilles. It doesn't have that much shopping. I would say maybe it has like a fifth of the shopping that Roseville does. But at times, that tends to be enough. With places to eat like Mas Taco, Blue Nami, movie theaters, like shops. It's just a nice, really nice spot. If you're looking for a mall kind of area that has like concerts in the park, events, painting, all that stuff too, that's kind of the Folsom vibe. It's very laid back, very resorty, really nice, really upscale. So that's kind of Folsom as far as the shopping goes. Like East Bidwell, if you're looking for a store like a Home Depot, if you're looking for like a Home Goods, just go down East Bidwell. Now, also over here, you're going to notice as well too, here is going to be like the older Folsom where you can basically like paddleboard. There's a lot of river life over there too. If you come here during the summer and you're thinking to yourself, I wonder where everyone is. Where are they paddleboarding? Where are they, I hear there's a lot of like river life, Folsom Lake and everything too. This is where you go. Honestly, this is where you're going to see a lot of people like basically gathering, paddleboarding. They're going to be on the water. This is where it is. So hopefully you guys get a chance to see it because that's one of the main selling points of Folsom. Now, as far as medical goes, it does have some medical here in Folsom as well too. You have the Kaisers, you have UC Davis Medical Campus being built in Folsom Ranch, you have Dignity, you have medical in Folsom. Not as much as Roseville, but you definitely have some medical. Now, if you need a specific type of hospital, I would say definitely check out these hospitals before you pull the trigger. Roseville, I'd say might edge it out just a little bit for hospitals, but at the same time, what's happening in Folsom, outside of Elk Grove, it's going to be developed really, really amazing. The Folsom Ranch area, we're talking new sports complex with 3-door indoor hockey rinks. We're talking about 2 additional schools. We're talking about other stuff being built in Folsom. Folsom is going to be a powerhouse. It's already a destination city, but now it's going to go to the next level. So there's a lot of money being put into Folsom. So it's probably going to be exploding relatively soon, but in a total positive way. Now let's talk a little bit about Folsom. Like, as you can see right here, you're going to see like over here's where all the new home building is. You're going to see like Taylor Morrison, KB, you're going to see Tri-Point, you're going to see who else is over there, Lennar, you're going to see Woodside, you're going to see Beezer was building, then they're done. And you're probably going to see a few more communities coming in the next few months. This is where all the new home is. So if you're driving through the 50 and you see this big kind of scene that looks like almost Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, that's what's happening over there. Now, there's a lot of talk where it's a little bit too trafficy and it's just a cluster at the moment. Hopefully, they kind of figure that stuff out, because at this point in time, East Bidwell around 5 or 9 o'clock, it tends to be very trafficy. So hopefully they figure out a little bit more ways to get out of Folsom Ranch, which would be nice. Now, they have been talking about doing a connector here on the back way to Elk Grove. So, you never know. That could pop up as well too. Now, Folsom, as you're going to notice too, Natoma Station, this is where all the water activity happens. Now, in Folsom, you're going to see some really amazing communities. Briggs Ranch is one of my favorite. American River Parkway is here as well too. And it butts up with El Dorado Hills. Now, some of the reasons why people pivot from El Dorado Hills to Folsom is because Folsom is a SMUD. Folsom is, like I said, an amazing spot to live. I'd say if you're looking for a spot that's kind of close, maybe about 35 minutes to downtown, Folsom's definitely a great spot to look at. I'd say if you're looking for somewhere that's like on the 50, has its shopping, resort style vibe, and you're looking for an area that is absolutely going to be nuts in 2030, I don't know if you can do better than Folsom. Number 2 is Granite Bay, and this is highly controversial because in the Sacramento area, Granite Bay retained the number 1 spot all the way till 2024. Now in 2025, there's a new number 1. Now, as you can tell right here, we had the median list price of $1.15 million. Now, the list is about affordability and about buying. So these are the prices, and this is the median list price of houses currently being put on the market. That doesn't necessarily mean these houses are going to sell for these prices, but this is the median list price. And right now, Granite Bay moved from 2024 as the number 1 spot to 2025, the number 2 spot, which is very controversial. I know a lot of people in the comment below are going to say, no way, Granite Bay is still the number 1 most expensive spot. But honestly, these are the statistics, and this is what it is. So Granite Bay is number 2. The other thing to note about Granite Bay is it is on PG&E, and it's close to Folsom Lake. So just make sure about the home insurance as well too. Granite Bay, like I said, Granite Bay is that spot where you're going to find some big estate homes, great schools, great location. Granite Bay really does have it all. If you're looking for something like an estate home, like a 5,000, 6,000 square foot house, maybe the guest house, maybe a lot of land, maybe close to Folsom Lake, greenery, and also super close to Roseville shopping, Granite Bay is it. Granite Bay is an amazing spot to live. And like I said, I know a lot of people are going to be a little bit blown away by it moving down the rankings. This is number 2. But it's still an amazing spot to live. And like I said, it's still a hard one to jump into because honestly, this is a big jump from Folsom as far as the median list price. So let's jump in. Granite Bay schools. One of the main reasons why people absolutely love the Granite Bay area is for the schools. The community vibe. I've heard nothing but good things about the schools in Granite Bay. People absolutely love it. But not only just for the academics, for how it's rated, but also I've heard that there's a very nice community vibe in Granite Bay as well too. Again, though, schools are very subjective. So check it out for yourself and see what you think. Now, as far as shopping goes, yeah, you're not going to have a lot. You're going to have maybe Hawk's Steakhouse. But for the most part, your shopping is going to be right here, the Galleria. Majority of everything that is going to be where you're headed to. Granite Bay is like a little bit of like a suburb of like the Roseville shopping, Roseville dining and all that stuff too. Yes, there are some nice spots in Granite Bay. Like I said, Hawk's Steakhouse, and there's some nice spots to eat. But for the most part, your shopping, you're going to be heading to the Galleria. If you live in Granite Bay, the West Elms, the Restoration Hardware, Louis Vuittons, Gucci's, that whole thing. So a lot of the shopping, and it's nice though, because in Granite Bay, you're literally like 5, 7, 10, depending on where you live, you're super close to basically the major shopping area of Sacramento, but you don't have to deal really with like living in the congested kind of area. You're in Granite Bay, you move into Granite Bay, it's greenery, it's beautiful estate style homes. It's epic. Eddie Murphy lived there, and a bunch of other Kings players live there as well too. Granite Bay is definitely an amazing spot. Now, as far as medical, like I said before, like a lot of your medical is going to be in Roseville. You're not going to see a lot of like really like, you're going to see some malls in kind of Granite Bay, but they're going to be more like, a few stores here. There's not going to be a lot of your shopping done in the Granite Bay area. There's some big box stores, but other than that, you're going to see some gas stations scattered, some like boutique stores here and there. But for the most part, you're in Roseville for your medical, you're in Roseville for your shopping. You have your estate style home, you got your privacy, your security, you have that big house, and it's just like you're close to everything. You're close to the lake, you're close to shopping, medical. It's really central too to the 80 and the 50, which is one of those rare spots in the Sacramento area that kind of is. Also, you have new home building. You had I think Premier is done, but you had that. You got Magnolia by Tim Lewis. They're building $2 million houses on acre lots. They're really, really nice. You have where else do we got? You got somewhere around here. You also have another home builder called this doing White Hawk, and it's by Anthem Homes as well too. Single stories, really nice. So you have a scattered amount of new home builders. It's not like you're going to see in other areas like Rocklin or Roseville or Folsom Ranch. You have some, but like I said, a lot of the price points of these spots, like Magnolia by Tim Lewis, you're in $2 million. Premier, New Home Company, Anthem, you're all over $1 million. It's hard to find anything in Granite Bay underneath $1 million. And like I said, I've seen homes in there for $3, $4, $5, $8 million at times too. So Granite Bay, definitely, even though it's number 2, it's still one of those spots where, price tag, there's really no limit in this area. So if you're looking for a big home, estate style living, this is kind of where you go. Now, here's Granite Bay right here, and this is why it's so nice over here too. You're right near Folsom Lake, and like I said, just make sure you talk to my buddy Javier or some home insurance person before you pull the trigger, because as you know, the closer you are to Folsom Lake, you could get into home insurance issues. PG&E, but other than that, you got lush greenery, you got walking trails, hiking trails, you're close to the water. It's really an amazing spot to live. I'd say some of the areas that I like in the neighborhoods I like Los Lagos, I like Shelbourne, I like Eden Rock, I like Wexford if you're a golfer. There are some really, really nice communities. And for me, Granite Bay has always been kind of that spot where it's like estate homes, where you drive in, the U-shaped driveway, the columns, Mediterranean style homes. It's really, really absolutely beautiful. If you're someone who's looking to maybe spend over 1.5 or over $2 million, Granite Bay is one of those spots that's going to make sense. Not a lot of areas in Sacramento do, but this area would. In Granite Bay, like I said, even though it's number 2, it's always going to be number 1 in my heart. And the number 1 spot, and this isn't based on popularity, it's based on affordability. It's El Dorado Hills. El Dorado Hills overtook Granite Bay in the median list price in 2025. And it just is a popular spot that people absolutely love. If you're someone who loves views, resort style vibe, if you like that affluent feel, El Dorado Hills has it all. It has a lot of different communities. Beautiful, beautiful spot. It is some of the best scenery in Northern California. If you're a golfer, you got North Serrano. If you're someone who likes boating, it's close to Folsom Lake. It really does have it all. Now, the interesting thing, though, about El Dorado Hills in comparison to Granite Bay, in Granite Bay, it's hard to get anything underneath $1 million. I mean, it's almost ludicrous to go into Granite Bay looking for underneath $1 million. In El Dorado Hills, there are communities in El Dorado Hills, like at the base of Ridgeview and other communities, where you can get in there for $650,000, $700,000, $800,000. So there are still spots of El Dorado Hills that are affordable. The thing that's really kicking it up a notch is that there's so much custom home building being happening in El Dorado Hills. There's so much stuff happening there. Toll Brothers is set to release another community in El Dorado Hills that's very hush-hush. But there's major stuff happening in El Dorado Hills that's even going to set the price point even higher. Like I said, guys, there's new homes being built, custom homes being built, Promontory, Ridgeview, North Serrano, you name it, and they're building it. And the reason why the price point is going up and up and up is because in El Dorado Hills, they have more land to build on than Granite Bay. So you're going to see probably this price point increase. And like I said, it isn't a really big surprise to me in 2025 that El Dorado Hills overtook Granite Bay. But here's the thing, many a slip between a cup and a lip. They might list those houses at a certain price, but they need to sell them. So 2025 will be an interesting year to see if El Dorado Hills keeps going or if Granite Bay retakes it in 2026. Both spots are amazing, guys. Easily two of the most expensive and more popular spots in all the Sacramento metro. If you're looking for amazing views, amazing estate style homes, they both have it. Now, as far as schools go, honestly, there's not a lot of people complaining about the schools. As you can tell, really nice marks. But again, schools are very subjective. Go to greatschools.org to check it out. El Dorado Hills is just phenomenal. It has, in my opinion, some of the best sunsets, sunrises, scenery that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's absolutely stunning. Now, as far as medical, you're probably going to be heading down to Folsom or even to different areas. I would say medical is one of the spots that's a little bit weak on in El Dorado Hills. Now, here's the thing about El Dorado. It's interesting. It is one of the few communities that it fights a lot of the stuff that's being built there. There was going to be an Amazon center being built in El Dorado Hills, and they fought it. No longer going to happen there. There was, and they're right now in talks to have a Costco in El Dorado Hills. El Dorado Hills residents are fighting it tooth and nail. Like I said, El Dorado Hills is an interesting vibe, very strong communities, and like I said, you can get anything $6 million plus. And you can also get those communities with no Melrose, no HOAs in the 600s and 700s. So it's really, really kind of a different vibe. Like I said, in Granite Bay, if you go in there and you're looking for under $1 million, it's just nuts. You can't do it. In El Dorado Hills, though, because there are some communities in the 6s and 7s, it's definitely doable. So as far as median list price, yes, El Dorado Hills might be higher because there's a lot of custom homes being built and sold there, but the barrier to entry in El Dorado Hills is definitely lower than Granite Bay. Now, as far as the shopping goes, town center. That's where a majority of the shopping happens. If you're looking for a nice bougie boutique mall, this is it. Man-made lakes, bistros, everything. This mall has it all. In fact, for a lot of our clients, we always suggest going to dinner here because it is definitely something you don't see in Sacramento a lot. Really, really nice spot. Shopping wise though, for Costco's, considering they're fighting the Costco, you might be going to Folsom. The Palladio as well too. Downtown, you're talking about maybe 35 to 45 minute drive, depending where in El Dorado Hills you live. Now, El Dorado Hills is interesting. This is a map I broke out in another video, but you got really stable communities, and this is where a lot of the new home building is happening. Promontory, you got Serrano up here, North Serrano specifically. There is so much land right now that's being built. And like I said, there's new communities being developed right over the Blackstone community, the Lennar community, the Blackstone community in El Dorado Hills as well too. There's also some nice active communities. I'm telling you guys, El Dorado Hills is amazing. It's absolutely a stunning spot. And if you heard and you saw videos about Sacramento and you're thinking, I heard Sacramento had a lot of areas that were had views, had these epic infinity edge pools. Check out North Serrano, check out Greenview. I mean, the area is just unbelievable. And like I said, I think El Dorado Hills is what a lot of people look at for resort style living. The price point, yes, it definitely gets pricey in North Serrano, Promontory, Ridgeview as well too. But a lot of people comparatively towards areas like Danville or the Bay Area or Southern California find it definitely worth it. In fact, I would say North Serrano kind of has a little bit of a Southern California vibe to it. Really, really love it up there. Now, as far as El Dorado Hills go, it's just amazing. You got Blackstone over here, you got Serrano over here, and over here you've got some cute little communities. Some of them, like Promontory, are in the millions, but at the same time, you can find some houses out here. You just got to worry a little bit about home insurance. They're beautiful as well too, in the 8s. So like I said, guys, El Dorado Hills has everything for everybody. It's just an amazing spot to live. Now, as far as the drawbacks, I would say number one is it's a little further away from downtown. Number two is that your shopping is going to be in Folsom. Unless you want to go do some boutique dining, there's a Target there as well too. There's a Raley's, but for a lot of your major shopping, you'll probably go to Folsom, or you might even trek it all the way to Roseville. Everyone watching the video, which one of these suburbs do you like and why? Because so many people watch these videos, we want to give them a little education on the differences between these spots, and if they're great, if they're not great, give us your honest opinion down below. Okay guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video on the 6 top most popular suburbs in the Sacramento area, guys. All 6 of these are requested almost on a daily basis. They're all pretty amazing. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button. It would mean a whole lot to me and the YouTube algorithm. Also, don't forget to subscribe because we will be dropping some amazing content about the Sacramento area to educate you and help you understand kind of how the area kind of works, the different cities, the different counties, all that kind of fun stuff. We got you right here. Now, if you're thinking about moving in the Sacramento area, there's a Zoom link below. We can set up a time to talk a little bit about what you're looking for specifically, your lifestyle, and answer any questions you might have about moving into the Sacramento area. Now, if you're thinking about selling your house, guys, don't settle for the post on the ground realtors. Work with a team that gets more eyeballs on your home than any other team in the Sacramento area. Okay, one last thing before I go. I created a playlist right over there on the various counties, areas, cities, everything, so you can compare and contrast all the different suburbs in the Sacramento area so you can make the right choice. Again, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you next video.